Where's my apple?
Hello, and welcome to this edition of Nevada Legal Services Now, our YouTube live series on Thursdays at noon. My name is Ray Girdkin, and I am joined, as always, by David Olshan.
Hello.
Hi, David.
Hiya.
So we are going to be introducing a new video series that we will be putting up on our YouTube channel. And we thought we would give a brief introduction of this new idea in our live presentation today. But our new YouTube video series is going to be entitled YouTube Law School. Basically, the goal of this will be to provide some basic information of legal concepts to help people that might not have the information, might need assistance, might just be nervous about accessing the court system. David, do you have more thoughts on the idea of our YouTube Law School?
Yes, the way I envision it is YouTube Law School will cover a lot of the questions that we get every day from people who are going to small claims court or want to sue the government for monitoring them, things like that. We're going to talk about basic substantive issues that we see every day that are impediments to people who try to go to court and vindicate their rights. And it's going to be simple. I mean, law school, it should be in quotes because it's really not law school. Law school is 3 years, and hopefully these videos won't be too long and won't be too complicated. We want to keep it simple, and we want to break down the doors of the courthouse to allow common people who aren't lawyers to go into court and at least survive a motion to dismiss.
Well, that is hopefully an achievable goal for us. And we will not be doing these live. We will be doing these as uploaded videos that will drop on a regular basis. But we thought we'd start live today and discuss jurisdiction. You want to take it away, David?
Jurisdiction, yes. Jurisdiction. And basically what we're talking about is the power of a court to rule in a case. Now, you could say, you're a judge, why can't you decide my case? You can be talking to a bankruptcy court judge and say, can you decide this personal injury case? No, a bankruptcy court judge doesn't have the power to rule on a personal injury case. It may be brought inside the bankruptcy case itself in an adversary proceeding, but I said we're going to keep it simple. And so a lot of the things I talk about, you could say, well, objection, you can bring an adversary a complaint in bankruptcy court that's based on personal injury. Sure, you can, but we're going to try to keep it simple. So we're talking about a power of a court to hear a case, and we're talking in simple, straightforward terms and not bringing in all the details that you get in law school. So generally speaking, what we're talking about are two areas: the power of a court over a person and the power of a court over the matter. So usually when we're talking about state court, Nevada state court, oh, sorry, I was just going to go like broad brush stroke here. Usually when we're talking about state court, it's a dollar amount. Usually we're talking in federal court, it's over a statute or a claim, and we'll make that distinction as we talk about these cases. Now we can advance. I'll pull on my ear like.
Okay. No, I think that one advanced on its own. Sorry. I think it was, these might be on timers that I have to take.
Federal court. Now, the thing to understand about federal court, I'm going to sue you in federal court. Does that make it more serious? Not really. What we're talking about in federal court are basically statutory claims that are covered in covered by the federal court. And so I've cited to several statutes here that give the federal court power to hear a case. So if there's a federal question, let's say you're vindicating your civil rights, a police officer has beaten you up and you want to sue the police officer, you might sue in federal court under 42 U.S.C. 1983, which is a civil rights violation. You have a state actor, you have a federal question. 28 U.S.C. 1331 gives the federal court power to hear your case. if you have diversity of citizenship, let's say a tourist from California comes and beats you up, and you have more than 75,000. Come on, man. What are you doing, Ray? Are I going too slow?
No, this is
Anyway,
that's this
if
is
you
the
are beat
PowerPoint's fault, not mine.
that's fine. Sorry, I should work through these mistakes because guess what? We're not professionals. Anyway, all right. So if you're beaten up by somebody from California, $75,000 or more in damages, there's diversity of citizenship, a Nevada resident and a California resident, the federal court would have jurisdiction over it. Now, you could file in state court. We'll talk about long-arm jurisdiction in state court, but generally speaking, you could also bring it in federal court. Bankruptcy is exclusively federal court and exclusively the bankruptcy court. So 1334, 28 USC 1334 provides the bankruptcy court with jurisdiction to hear bankruptcy matters. Civil rights, 1343, and there's supplemental jurisdiction. So let's say somebody has beaten you up, a police officer has beaten you up, and you have a federal question, 42 USC 1983, a civil rights violation. Let's say the police officer, you know them, they also owe you money. That would be usually in state court, but there's supplemental jurisdiction in federal court, and you can shoehorn the case into the federal case if it's related to the party or the nucleus of operative facts.
So just obviously, as it says at the end, this list is not exclusive. Two things I just want to make clear. Federal question jurisdiction and diversity jurisdiction are separate. So if you're going under diversity jurisdiction, like David said, a California resident comes and beats you up and your damages are above 75,000, you don't need a federal statute in order to bring it. You do, though, with a federal question. And David used the example of police officer, and that is, that implicates constitutional rights because there is a state actor essentially. So, I just want to make sure that everybody's aware that you do not need both the federal question and the diversity.
And I just want to say, I'm not casting aspersions on anyone from California. We love our California visitors, our tourists who gamble here and spend money. I'm just using it as an example.
Yes. These are all examples.
Right. Oh, okay. Now I thought it was over. State courts. The Constitution in Nevada and the legislature established jurisdiction for the courts here in Nevada, and we'll talk about some of the distinctions. For instance, family court. There's only family courts in 2 counties in Nevada. That's Washoe and Clark County. There's family court. Other counties like Nye or Esmeralda or White Pine, they don't have family courts. They only have them in Washoe and Clark County. Generally speaking, the district court is a general jurisdiction court that pretty much hears all claims except those that are excluded. And we'll talk about justice court and municipal courts, but it has general jurisdiction claims over $15,000 when you file a petition for judicial review, whether it's unemployment benefits or workers' comp, or any state agency has issued a decision, you're going to file a petition for judicial review in district court, not justice court, because district court has jurisdiction. If you want to file for declarative or injunctive relief, generally speaking, the district court is going to have that jurisdiction. And the basic distinction between district court and justice court is the jurisdictional limit. A claim of $15,000 or more goes to district court, over 15,000 goes to district court, 15,000 or under goes to justice court. Now, justice court, as I said, is limited jurisdiction. Any claim 15,000 or under goes to justice court. They do have some declaratory relief, some injunctive relief based on a restraining order or protective order, but that's only in Clark or Washoe counties.
So in justice court, you're going to get things that, a lot of what we deal with happens in justice court. Your eviction actions, the small claims matters are technically in justice court. And then, like David said, when we're appealing decisions of unemployment benefits, that's going to district court because district court has jurisdictions over petitions for judicial review or review.
What the hell's going on?
It's your PowerPoint.
Okay,
Wants to speed through things.
I'm sorry.
And then obviously, one other area where there's a distinction between justice court and district court in criminal matters, because both district court and justice court might have jurisdiction over the same and or different criminal matters. All criminal matters that are state involved crimes essentially start in justice court. And then if there is a probable cause finding, they're considered bound over to district court. But then misdemeanor, so there's that distinction between misdemeanors and felonies in terms of the criminal court's jurisdiction. And then I think you're going to talk about municipal court jurisdiction next.
If the slide's still there, but let me make one other point. I talked about long arm jurisdiction, and yes, if a California person beats you up here in Nevada, you may be able to sue them in state court if that person has minimum contacts, if that person visits or owns property here or has some contact with the state of Nevada, you may be able to sue in state court. Why would you sue in state court as opposed to federal court? That's a question more advanced than this YouTube law school, but just understand that there may be concurrent jurisdiction. You can file it in both state court and in federal court.
I guess, or in federal court, you do have to.
Yeah, okay. You can't file both, yeah.
And in your choice is going to be a problem if you decide you were potentially.
Right. There's removal. There's removing it from state court to federal court or vice versa. And that's basically for attorneys, defense attorneys, to make it more costly and time consuming for plaintiffs.
This is the last slide. So if you want to talk about municipal court.
This is the last slide? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So municipal court, the municipal courts are in municipalities, which city of Las Vegas, city of Henderson, city of Sparks. If you're a city and you're incorporated, you might have a municipal court, and usually you do. And those are for city infractions, jaywalking, parking violations. There's minor criminal activity that doesn't involve jail time. I think of more than 6 months, then it would be a felony. Yes, municipal courts, they do have civil and criminal sides, but they're generally in municipalities. If you're an unincorporated Clark County, you're not going to be going to municipal court because there's no municipality.
But that basically concludes our presentation for jurisdiction. David, do you want to summarize the importance of jurisdiction to people accessing the court system?
I would say yes. If the court doesn't have jurisdiction to hear your matter, you're going to be bounced out of court. You're going to be subject to a motion to dismiss, and you're going to be wasting your time and possibly jeopardizing your claim if there's a statute of limitations or some other problem that's going to limit your ability to file the lawsuit again. There's also jurisdiction in terms of, like, if you appeal up to the Nevada Supreme Court and lose, you can't go into federal court here in Nevada. You have to go straight to the US Supreme Court because a federal court wouldn't have jurisdiction. It would be barred by claim preclusion or some other federal doctrine that does not allow a federal court to basically judge a state court decision again. And what happened to those slides? I don't know, but anyway,
yeah,
it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. In terms of whether jurisdiction will impact your case or not, if you have a small claims complaint, you're going to be fine going into small claims or justice court. District court, you're probably going to have an attorney unless, what we have obviously had a lot of videos about is appealing unemployment decisions. So if there's a government agency involved, a lot of these decisions are not going to be too confusing or require much in terms of decision making. As David said, a lot of jurisdiction issues come with federal court and the distinction between whether you should file in federal or state court, or possibly arguments specifically about what we do in summary eviction that the court doesn't have jurisdiction to hear the case because of a substantive legal argument, which you can view our landlord-tenant series to learn more about how that operates in eviction. So generally speaking, I think most people will will likely be able to decide, what court they should be in. Or if you're a defendant, for the most part, unless you're dealing with federal court, will likely know that you're in the right court. But just keep in mind that there are rules regarding jurisdiction and what court you should be in to hear.
We're keeping it simple. So I think we've done a good job.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you for those who are watching. If you do have any questions, we'll hang out for just a minute. Go ahead and post those in the chat. But we are definitely happy to be able to bring this information to you. And again, as I always say, there is specific information that you'd like us to talk about, just let us know. We're more than happy to give you whatever information and knowledge that we can.
And we do have, this is the beginning. So we have a whole sort of list of classes that we're going to be uploading and discussing different legal issues, not anything like specific, how do I file a small claims case, but general issues that we cover, we learn in law school, but we're going to try to simplify it and make it available to you so you can file your own case.
And hopefully not have PowerPoint forwarding issues. As our live presentations are live and unscripted.
Right. Obviously, if there's a scripted, it would be. Anyway.
Well, thank you all very much for joining us today. And there will be no additional live presentation in April. So you will have to check us out again in May, but hopefully we will have our videos for the YouTube Law School and additional videos dropping soon. So check back and